t-shirt, so sorry.
Yeah, no cleavage and no choker. Oh man, this is just gonna implode.
This is the modesty hour, is what we've changed the name of this to.
You are listening to the Points of Interest podcast right here, right now. Believe it.
On this episode of the Points of Interest podcast, Olympic anti-sex beds, fans are back at WWE shows, the race to space with money heats up, and new technology comes out every time I buy technology.
Because I know the reference.
What are you giggling about?
I know the reference to that last thing you said because you were so upset.
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the most generic podcast on the internet. My name is Josh Hawks. I am the 303 Ninja. Right over there, she's my podcasting partner for life and best friend. It is the lovely Miss Savanna.
Newest host of the Modesty Hour, coming to you every Tuesday.
The most modest podcast.
The most modest podcast.
This is the first time even hearing of this.
On the internet.
Was this the quick conversation
Surprise!
you guys were having while I was setting things up just now?
Yeah, because she's dressed modestly today.
Yeah. My crew neck t-shirt. Yeah.
And no choker.
No choker. Sorry, guys. Sorry, everyone. Sorry.
Well, even further over there, he is my podcasting partner for life and best friend as well. He is AKA the other guy. It's Mr. Francis Fernandez.
I'll make up for it by unbuttoning the top button of my polo.
Ooh.
Chest. Yeah, some chest.
The chest is out.
Chest.
Look out.
Chest is bad.
Chest. Yeah, look at that. Actually, just like the bottom of my neck. My chest. It's the bottom of my neck. Ladies. Look at your man. Now look at me.
The part of every man. The bottom of the neck.
I mean, look at Josh. Josh has all of his neck showing.
Yeah, he's got that V-neck, that stretched out t-shirt going on.
It's not that stretched out.
Little hair showing up from the collar.
I can't help it. I'm a fucking man.
I'm just getting the vapors over here. That's all I'm saying. The vapors. Oh.
Yeah, sometimes I look back at the pictures that are taken, thanks to Facebook and Google now reminding me every morning when pictures are taken or when pictures were taken. Why didn't any of you assholes tell me I have a gigantically long neck?
Hey, Josh? Josh, are you sitting down?
Yeah.
Josh?
Yeah.
Josh, are you sitting down?
I sure am.
You have a gigantically long neck. I'm so sorry.
Is it long?
No, it's not. It doesn't look.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't notice.
When I look at some of these pictures,
long.
I don't know if I'm like trying to stand out in the fucking crowd of people in some of these pictures or somebody's like sticking their finger up my ass when the pictures get taken, but I feel like I'm just like, my neck is just like super stretched out.
I never noticed. I don't know. I just thought you had a neck.
I think you have a pronounced neck. Like, it's better than having no neck.
That's true. That is true. I've known people that have had no neck. I think my brother, for the longest time, had no neck. He was just a little spark plug.
What do you guys watch? What is it? 90 Day Fiance. That guy.
Talk Sober Drive is right. It is confidence. It's just confidence. That's what's causing.
I appreciate that. It's I don't know. It's funny looking back, but something that did kind of tick my brain just now is that we should be packing for San Diego Comic-Con right now.
You should? Oh my God! Why'd you tell me? I would have done it yesterday.
Well, right, but if the show was actually happening, we would.
I was gonna say, is it happening?
No, it's not. But due to the week that it is. This would be the week it would start. This or next week.
I think
some of the pictures that have been popping up, especially the pictures today. Especially the pictures today were all from Comic-Con. So the date floats between, I'd say, this and next week. Looking at a calendar right now, it would have been this week because it's always that third week in July.
Yeah, so July 23rd to 25th is Comic-Con at home, so they're still doing their online one. Mm-hmm. Then if you hate your family, go to the special edition of Comic-Con during Thanksgiving weekend, 26th to 28th.
Yeah, that
for the
nobody's
Comic-Con
gonna be
special
able
edition.
to afford to go to. Yeah, that'll be great.
With
Well,
like special VIP passes or what?
No, but Thanksgiving weekend's like the busiest holiday weekend. And then you put on top of that Comic-Con, which means automatically that every hotel is going to overjack their prices. It would just make it ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, but dude, whatever.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's part of the fun, right? Is spending all that money. But the thing is that like this year, or I guess next year, hopefully, unless things change, I don't have all that tip money to feel like an adult to buy my team members dinner or a drink or a PMU on a day that we're all a little worn down. You know, like that was so important to me to be able to do that with Francis and Shelly. And it made me feel like a real adult when I was like, no, let me pay for dinner. Let me pay for most of dinner.
A baller, shot caller.
Yeah. Baller.
Well, because I had saved all my tips for like 3 months. So basically the money that I was carrying around in my pocket that Francis was keeping me safe from being pickpocketed from was in my mind, not my money, dink dink. So it was like, I'm throwing money this way and that way, and I'm buying this and that because fuck it. This isn't my money.
Can I just say, though, you know, that since you brought up that situation, how do I know that Martha is the woman for me? She did the exact same thing to me in Mexico when somebody was trying to do the same thing to me and kind of sneak up and do it. She did the shove and push me out of the way type of deal and like, get over here. This guy's trying to get into your pockets. I'm like, oh, I did that once.
We're both gentlemen.
The backstory for the uninitiated
gentlemen
that weren't around in 2019 when it happened, Francis and I were walking through the gas lamp district of downtown San Diego when somebody attempted to pickpocket me, and Francis saw the reach and pushed me so hard in the back he tacoed.
Wasn't that?
I felt like I got tacoed because if you don't recall, I turned around ready to sock somebody.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. You're right. You're ready to
you said,
knock me out.
Just keep moving. And I went, oh,
What did
yeah.
the perpetrator do?
What's that?
Yeah.
What did the perpetrator do?
Well, I don't know. I never
The
saw.
attempted thief.
Well, they got lost in the crowd.
Yeah.
Because we were in a crowd. That's why it was a perfect opportunity for this guy to do something. Because we were surrounded by people. Like there were just people up and down the street, and so this guy was just like hand out, ready to either cop a feel or take something. And it was close, and I'm like, oh well, I better do something. And so I did what I had to do. But then we moved so far up ahead through a bunch of people.
Yeah, because I got fucking pushed. I got Super Saiyan pushed in the back and shit.
So they kind of went away.
Whatever. I didn't watch the show.
But,
Clearly, Josh.
We are going to have... San Diego's happening next year. And the only reason why I know that is because DragonCon refuses to slow down. Like, they're full force in September, which means that conventions are... I think that's the first full convention that's not a small one. Right. That's going to be a thing. It's happening. Well, and people are still buying tickets and people are still trying to go there. So it's a thing.
Well, it's a kind of a little apropos you bring that up, but the British Grand Prix was this weekend. It took place in, I think it's called Silverstone. It was the first British gathering since last year sometime. And qualifications to get into the race were to be double vaxxed or double shotted vaxxed, and be able to provide a negative test, rapid test. And it was a government test bed. Basically, they were using the racetrack as a test bed for gatherings. So I haven't heard any rumblings of anybody coming down with anything. Obviously, it's only been 2 days, but I'm definitely keeping track and looking at that and seeing how that whole situation goes.
Have you guys ever tested for it, the COVID?
Yeah, like 6 times.
So Josh, have you?
No, I haven't. There was, without breaking kayfabe, there's been a couple situations in the past year where it was on the brink of whether I should have got tested or not. And it turned out both times there were false negatives or false positives. false positives.
There's false negatives too.
Yeah, I guess there is false negatives. But false positives where the retest happened. It was like, oh, no, you guys are fine. There was a situation at the workplace where we did get called, and they were like, don't come into work.
Oh, yeah.
So then they had
I just want to say,
come in with like atomized bleach or something and like sprayed the whole building. I don't know,
I mean, look, I get that they have to shove a stick up your nose, but man, there's no other way.
I had 2 different ways. I had the nose, the brain swab, and then I also had a throat swab. But what they did was literally poke the back of your throat, and they're like, "Don't gag," and that's all you want to do. And like everyone would cough, and both times I stood my ground, but it sucked. Like it's just like this dry thing just poking the back of your throat and just like. So.
Well, look,
it's
there
like
was
Quagmire trying to get some.
Yeah.
Giggity.
But yeah,
So.
Francis, things are moving forward.
Yeah.
Conventions
WWE
has invited fans back to their shows, and they're traveling to shows now. AEW is traveling to shows. To cities, I mean.
Well, and
shows.
guest stars are starting to sign on to cons too.
Denver Fan Expo has put out some names that people have been asking to come here for 6 years now. So it's kind of cool to see. There's some Buffy actors and actresses coming, and there's some Doctor Who's coming. I'm still
Doctor
Who's like Francis hasn't chatted with yet.
I know, I'm like 3 down. I've so far, I've talked to 3 Doctor Who's so far. I need to talk to more. Is it 3 or 2? Tom Baker. Oh yeah, 3. Tom Baker. Tom Baker. No, not Tom Baker. He's I forgot now. The 5th, the 6th, and the guy who ended up playing the first Doctor again. The Filch from Harry Potter. What's his name?
Oh.
You know the guy. When you see him, you know who he is. He's like this
right.
And he played the first Doctor for like a little documentary and a little and for other episodes. But yeah, so I have 3 out of the current alive, I think 8. So I need to keep going. I got Sylvester McCoy. I got Tom Baker. I got David Tennant. I got a bunch.
Rowan Atkinson was apparently the Doctor.
He was for a comedy one.
Wow.
He did it for a comedy one, and it was stupid, but it was hilarious because it's super dumb.
I believe there's some companions coming this time around.
Nice.
Ooh,
I think they're Tennant companions.
Oh, there you go. Tennant's my favorite.
I can't think of her name right now.
Hugh Grant.
So in the special,
I think it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, the Doctor does a couple of regenerations, one of which is Hugh Grant. He's like Hugh Grant for like 5 minutes. It's really, it's a super silly, really terrible, because the Master, who I forget who plays him, he's just another popular actor, is like in poo for thousands upon thousands of years, and it's just really, British comedy. it's really weird, but yeah, it's a good time. It's 20 minutes. It's worth a watch. Rowan Atkinson is a good Doctor.
He's
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean. I love Mr. Bean.
Rowan Atkinson is really good at acting with just his face.
Oh yeah, he's a very good emoter.
Yes. for sure. I am not.
No, but
that I am.
Give me that eyebrow, man. That eyebrow raise, just every time.
I've got the Rock's eyebrow, the people's eyebrow, but like outside of that, I don't really have much. My emotional range is pretty subdued unless I'm very upset, one way or the other.
Look, I over emote.
Yeah,
so
same.
You're good. I over emote.
There is somebody that's in my life that cries when the wind blows a certain way.
That used to be me.
Like, yeah. Like
medication is great, you guys.
Yeah.
So I have a question to ask you guys.
What's that?
I don't want to ask that yet.
Okay.
So the
whiplash there, Josh.
Sorry, no, I got sidetracked. I have 2 pages of notes, so I have to look at both pages.
Wow.
Again, I love that you write them out. It's great.
Well,
I love how old
it's
school.
also 2 pages because my handwriting is overly large and horrible. So I need 2 pages because I write too big.
I can't read my handwriting anymore, so at least you can still read.
I didn't say I can read it.
Oh. I just put it out there.
Graffiti got to me at a very early age, and I was just telling somebody today, I don't know what I used to write like before I had the graffiti influence.
So do you always do that S?
That I showed you a long time ago?
The 1994 S.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
no,
the one
no,
that
no,
everyone did. That one everyone
like
did in the
the
90s.
6 dashes and
Right,
the swirly
right.
tops.
Yeah.
That may or may not have been on some
And then
of
you
those
made
book
it
covers.
3D and just
always.
yeah.
You know, back in the
And
day.
you shaded it a little bit.
Those
Yep.
paper bag book covers.
My name started with S, so.
Oh, yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Actually, that's even better. What would be some technology that used to be around that today's younger generation just wouldn't understand at all? It wouldn't understand the concepts or the thing itself.
Steam Deck version 1.
Hold that thought, Francis.
Sorry.
I have a couple things to say about that, but my example would be, hey man, page me your number so I have it for later.
Well, and there's like sayings too that Gen Zers don't understand like where it came from. You know, like roll up the window when you physically had to roll.
Yes.
You know, use the crank or or how the the save icon is like what a floppy disk looked like.
Yes.
You know, and they don't know why it looks like that. You know, things like that. Or how the pound key on phones
Is the hashtag now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, right. Like you know what I used to keep all my friends' phone numbers on? My Casio watch that had the buttons. And it had like its own little phone book. Right? Because you used to have digital phone books like that.
I may or may not have had a little black book.
I did, except for it was just a full notebook.
No, mine fit in the back pocket of my pants, and it may or not have been color coded depending on.
Well, that's the thing too, is literally memorizing people's phone numbers.
Oh, we're gone.
Yeah, that too. What?
Sorry, hold on. There we are. Sorry, we dropped for a second on Twitch.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, literally memorizing people's phone numbers and you know, like calling house lines and having a fucking teen line, you know?
Right. Call waiting.
Call waiting.
While you're on the phone and
you can still 3-way call.
You got that click and the beep. You know, oh damn, there's another call coming in. You tell the person, hey, I got another call. And they're like, yeah, I know. You just totally cut out for a second.
Oh yeah, it would beep or something. Or it would just it would
still does that like on cell phones. Like if you're getting a call, it'll.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a throat.
I don't think it's a throwback. I think it's like
You think so?
because your phone is beeping and like.
Right.
See, I remember, I'm not even going to go that far back. I remember when cell phones had ringback tones, and when you called, it would be like a song.
My mom still has a fucking ringback tone.
You know,
it is obnoxious.
They wouldn't be so damn bad.
She couldn't get it off. Like it was just like programmed, and it was there. Like it was just.
It wouldn't be so damn bad if the track that got uploaded was mixed for a phone speaker.
Right.
All of those songs, every single one of those songs was, completely blown out. So even if it was a good song and you wanted to hear some of it, it was mixed horribly and just blown out. So it's just, rumbling. It was like going to a rap show.
I want someone like 50 years from now to still have like a ringback tone on their phone.
My mom. It will be my mother.
And it's like, oh man, I want it that way. And like,
She's going to be 100 years old and just have a fucking Van Halen song. Like.
But that's what we used to do, right? Like we used to.
Some people did. I
never had a ringback tone.
I felt it was overly obnoxious.
Well, and I just like tried to have like a professional. Like I just, Are
you kidding me? I had when my voicemail message box thing was always music or. Me, doing my in a world, like I would do that for my voicemail. It's like, now you can leave a message. And you just like, there was a lot of production value in my like voicemail.
It's like the Seinfeld, like George.
Believe it or not, I am not home.
Leave a message.
I have to leave. Oh God. No, but like. Or assigning a ring. Everyone on your phone had a different ringtone.
Ringtone, yeah.
I'm completely guilty of that one.
Yeah.
You did, because you wanted to know.
Or like you're top, you're special. Or like, do you guys still use the term top 8? Like, do you ever just randomly slip that into conversation?
Not really.
No.
No. In fact, I hadn't even thought about a top 8 until just right now.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
No, I loved it because then you could mod it so that you have your top 16 and like, because you didn't want your friends to feel left out. You're like, oh yeah, I've got a top 24, which is all my friends.
Which is all.
I always left Tom as my number one fan. He was, with his.
I was always, when I first signed up to it, I was like, who is this guy? Who the fuck is Tom?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody named Tom. I didn't understand how it all worked back then.
But that's how we communicated, though, right? Was our microblogging was done on MySpace, where, of course, a MIDI would be playing when you entered our page.
Of course.
And like that's how everybody learned how to code too, when they put their backgrounds and their.
Oh, HTML.
Do you think handwritten notes
get
passed around at all?
Nowadays?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah?
Yes, I do.
I mean, outside of like jails and prisons, do you think handwritten notes get passed around?
I think
because like most schools have like a 0 cell phone policy.
Yeah.
Like you can't, like, you're caught with it in class, like
you just take it.
Yeah.
And plus, there's also a lot of those parents who give like the super simple phones.
Yeah.
That are like you can only call home and
right.
Your grandmother.
Jitterbugs.
Yeah.
Jitterbugs.
So
kids.
so I think
the buttons are smaller.
I don't. No, I thought the buttons are bigger.
Yeah, buttons are bigger.
Buttons are
For
bigger
kids?
on a jitterbug.
No, that's what I'm saying. But a jitterbug for kids would be the same shitty phone, just the buttons are a little bit smaller.
No, I think it was the same.
I think it was supposed to be big because
exactly the same.
Yeah. They don't have fine motor skills.
My version of it would just be smaller. It would look hip, but it wouldn't be.
No, because you knew. Once you looked at it, you knew. It's like, that's not an iPhone. Like you. And then of course your family's poor. It's like, no, they just don't want me calling you.
Right. I mean, you're hitting one right there. make sure you call me after 9 o'clock because
Right.
My minutes
Or
are
I
free
ran out of
after that.
minutes,
Yeah.
or I ran out of text messages,
Text messages.
or
Yep.
you only had a certain threshold, or if you were like a certain carrier, you could only call those people before 9, or free text messages.
And that was conversations you would have with people. They would be very like kind of covert conversations, but you were like, can I call this chick before 9 o'clock? Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. She's on Boost or whatever
Yeah.
it was at the time.
Oh my God.
Boost is too recent still. But
when you chirp, right? Because you chirp each other.
No, that was.
Remember? Yeah. Do you remember that? God, that was Nextel.
Nextel.
Where they had the phone, but it was also the walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
When I did
to save on minutes, you just walkie-talkie each other.
Yes. When I did loss prevention for Nordstrom, that's how we communicated between stores and like between us and like say the maintenance crew or something like that was all through those Nextel things. And the security office was Echo Base.
Oh God. Oh man. And then when texting became a thing, you had the sidekick, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had to have
I never had one actually, and that was like right in my time basically.
Yeah, you either had the sidekick or the razor. Those
I
were
had
the two
the razor. I had 3 iterations of the razor.
I didn't have either one of those.
And then after that, I went straight to BlackBerry.
Oh,
I had the Nokia brick.
The brick,
sure.
yep.
And a 2-way.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had the brick, and then I had
the pager.
The tiny flip.
The flip.
The StarTech.
The tiny flip one.
The StarTech.
And then the razor. And then I went to BlackBerry.
I mean, what's funny is they tried to bring back the banana phone. The Nokia, I forget which Nokia it was, but the one where it slides out, like the bottom slides out, and then you can use it as a phone. They brought that back like 2 or 3 years ago.
The Matrix phone?
The Matrix phone, yeah.
Yep.
They brought it back like a
basically,
hot second.
the slide out keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it just did nothing. I do want the newest razor because the razor is a flip out tighter screen.
Right, and
it folds in half.
God.
And then the outside screen is a screen too.
It looks. I feel like it's gonna break.
It will. No, it will.
No, it's totally going to break. The first iteration of it lasted like 24 hours.
Yeah, it's gonna snap in half. Like, what are you gonna do?
Most people had issues with gunk getting into the hinge, and then the hinge breaking.
Yep.
I mean, it's funny we're talking about minutes and stuff, and I remember, because this is a thing that nobody uses anymore, is in order to I guess make sure I didn't use up all my minutes on my text, I would call my girlfriend at the time on a payphone.
Ooh.
From college, and I would be like, just for however long I needed to. I always had quarters on, and it was like 50 cents for.
You never called collect.
Anytime I called people collect, I got whatever I needed to say in the collect message.
Well, here's the problem with that, because it's so funny you say that. Because her name was Colette.
Oh no!
And so that was the joke to her name quite often, was calling her Collect. But yeah, no, I never. I don't think I've ever. Well, people used to do the collect call where it'd be like, will you accept call from? Hey, I'm ready to get picked up. Thank you. Bye.
That's what I'm
saying.
Or whatever. Every single one of my collect calls.
And then it'd be like, no. Yeah. All right, I guess I get to pick him up.
Yep. There was always that few moments where I'd be like, they said no, but was that to the call or was that to me? Because it's cold outside. No.
I don't remember if you can hear it. No.
Either way, it's just like they didn't accept it. So they said no either way. So was they saying no to the ride or no to the call? And you'd be standing on the corner next to the payphone going, it's starting to get cold. I sure hope they're coming to get me. Yeah. Bless you. So the current topip.
Oh.
The Bezos. The Bezos went into.
Speaking of technology, we don't use anymore. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I guess right. The Bezos went up into subspace today. and everybody everybody wanted him to continue flying up into space.
In his penis ship, yeah.
In his penis ship. That's funny that you said
penis-shaped rocket ship.
I said that earlier today as well. I think it's kind of funny that he took an 18-year-old boy up into a spaceship that had no internal cameras. Just saying. They did have a microphone, like a they had like a Blue Yeti or something inside the cabin, because you can hear them talking, and what sounded like what might have been an orgy or just a lot of excitement of being in space. I'm not really sure.
I'm hoping it's the orgy part, because that's the best part.
But it was a successful mission, I guess. Was it a mission? Was it a trip? I don't understand.
It was a mission. It was a proof of concept.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And
because everyone's trying to get to space, like we talked about last week.
Like we were saying, last week, the billionaire space race to the billionaire race to space. Everybody has their thoughts and whatnots on Bezos and everybody else. I keep going back to we're going into space more often, and that's what's important to me.
Yeah, no, look, I'm down with the space. I'm also down with the. I mean, look, I don't care. I'm indifferent about billionaires going into space. I'm indifferent simply because I don't know necessarily. I mean, unless they're like move to Mars, that's our ultimate goal. I don't. Otherwise, who cares?
Sorry, I missed a piece of the conversation. Did you talk about how that 18-year-old boy got onto the spaceship?
No.
No, but I did read something.
So,
it was
they had like this big auction. Like they had this big auction, basically auctioning off a spot on the ship, and it was the highest bidder was anonymous. It was this whole thing, and then literally, like called them, was like, hey, I forgot I have other plans that day, so just give it to this kid. Like
some random kid.
At what point are you that fucking loaded? Are you that fucking loaded that you're just like, it's my niece's like orchestra concert, so I gotta just next time,
He must be also at least, if anything, a millionaire.
Oh, absolutely, because it was like 28 million or something like that.
Oh, he's a billionaire. That's billionaire money.
The article that I read said it was the son of a billionaire who couldn't
go. Yeah, couldn't make it. Had other plans.
Arrangements. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, as if the kid's not already probably spoiled rotten. I mean, we don't know the kid. I'm totally just.
I don't know the kid, but look at him. Look at him. Just look at him.
But yeah, I mean, it was a proof of concept. It worked. I don't think New Shepard's trying to do anything else but be a little roller coaster ride for the rich.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be anything more than that for now.
I don't think it would be any more than that forever.
It's very possible. But it's been fun to watch the race that's been happening between SpaceX and Blue Origin as to who can get people in their crafts first, and who can get the landing correctly, and they go about it two different ways, and it's just cool to see innovation. And I've watched more space and rocket launches in the past 3 years than I have my entire life. So it interests me. I like it. It's cool.
I want my bullet train. Stop going to space.
Right?
Bullet train. I want it. Japan has it. They can go 11. A ride that takes 11 hours. They can do it in 2 in the bullet train.
I know.
Just give it to me.
That's all. Or just like better mass transit.
Yeah.
What I think.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What I think is really cool in Japan concerning the trains is that if a train is any more than 45 seconds to a minute late, it's a huge fucking deal.
Oh yeah.
And they will the conductor or somebody on the train, some train official, will give you a tardy slip to take to your workplace and give to your supervisor to let them know that you weren't there at 8:05. You're there at 8:05 because the train was 30 seconds late.
Mm-hmm. And then after their shift, they commit Harry, and then
I was going to make that joke too, but I'm glad that you did. So you've actually been to Japan though, so
yeah. It made the news that the train was 23 seconds late to something, and it made their national newspaper, and I'm like, wow. Wow.
You guys ever hear about the Hyperloop?
Well, that's what's supposed to be here in California.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm pissed about, because I want my Hyperloop.
Yeah.
I don't know the Hyperloop.
It's like a magnetic, like.
Oh, okay. The maglev train.
More or less, it's like a
tube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like
okay.
a beam that you ride back and forth between here and San Francisco. And guess how quick? San Francisco is a 9-hour drive. It's supposed to be a 45-minute bullet to San Francisco.
Isn't that also a Musk project?
Yes. Yep.
That's an Elon Musk thing.
Yep.
Yeah, the boring company, right?
Yeah, they freaking did everything. They even checked out trains, like the cars, and stuff that they could put into this bullet, and then it just went nowhere. I'm so pissed because it just evaporated because he was too busy, trying to sleep with Grimes. So
well, he did now.
Now he did. So good for him, I guess.
Everybody needs goals, Francis. Everybody needs goals.
Yeah, so.
So until there's some video evidence, I'm just saying.
Are you still talking about the boy?
I gotta bring it back to that because it's fucking funny.
You really think? Oh man,
he's 18, Josh. Who cares?
I know, but it's still funny to me. It's still funny. What might be a job that you would have if you weren't doing the job you're doing now?
Porn.
Porn. Well,
Only
Mr.
fans.
Sex Machine over here.
And
OnlyFans. No. Realistically, probably working in a retail, like a customer service job.
I would work at a movie theater again. I think that was my favorite.
Coffee,
I was working in a movie theater.
If
money well as well,
Yeah.
Right. If money,
like
if
10 times more than I would have been paid back in the day, then I think
I'd probably go back to coffee.
I was thinking about this topic, question, whatever, and the thing I kept going back to would be over-the-road trucking. The problem is, I have way too much road rage, and I love weed. So
yeah, yep, yeah. They do random drug screening.
Yeah, those two things combined, and I just don't think that would be a very smart choice for me as a career.
And you can't even speed or seatbelt violations. If you it's super easy for you to lose your CDL. Yeah.
And also, don't break fake kayfabe. A family member, I was visiting. I was like, hey, I got this weed. Well, I'm going to get you high. And the family member was like, I work for, the city of where we're at. And I was like, yeah, and you're about to retire. What are they going to do? Fire you?
I mean,
they could take away his benefits, though.
Yeah. So they respectfully declined. But the next time I see this person is now not working permanently. So that person's getting high.
And also, it's now would be the worst time to get into that type of business anyway, because it's a lot of getting automated. A lot of it is self-driving trucks.
Well,
yes and no, more locally.
But
I think self-driving trucks is locally.
Yeah.
I'm talking over the
road. That's a hop, skip, and a jump from.
Plus, there's there's labor laws now pertaining to trucks where you can't drive more than X amount of hours. without or X amount of miles
yep,
or like all this
first.
stuff, and it's all automated, and like there's all this reporting. Like my job before this, we had a couple CDL, and I had to keep track of that shit. So
there's a friend of mine that started doing it a couple of years ago, and they enjoy it for the most part, but it's only being home for 3 days a month.
Yeah.
That is just
there are. I mean, you can be a local. OTR,
but the
though,
money's in OTR.
Yeah. Right. Especially if you own your own rig.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But then you gotta drive your empty rig around. What do they call it? Bobtailing. You gotta bobtail around town if that's the only vehicle you have.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, it's your home, right? You get to decorate it. You get to put like lights up. You get to
put your weird political
stickers all over the place. Yeah. Or like the jaws in the front of the grill. Those teeth in front of the grill. Or
my friend that does it, he's got a microwave and a
you live there.
Yeah.
He lives in his truck, and then he's home for 3 or 4 days, and I think he just crashes at his parents' place because it's not like he lives at his parents. He's only there for 3 days.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of it that he enjoys. He does miss, seeing people and friends and whatnot, but it's one of those situations where he's like, the money's too good for me not to continue doing this.
Yeah, you can.
But at what point, like is he going towards a certain goal of money?
Probably not.
Or is it just like, yeah, you have all this money, but like, how's it going to bring you any joy if you have 3 days off?
Right.
Like, I have a friend who like works oil fields doing the same thing, and he's like, the money's too good, and I'm like, what the fuck does it matter? Like, your wife is like 8 hours away, and you see her twice a month, and like, what's the fucking point? Like,
yeah. One of the guys that
money's too good
was in my medical store. He was what do they call them? Roughnecks.
Mm-hmm.
I think they call them
Sure.
roughnecks. He was a roughneck, and he would come in, buy his max amount, and then I wouldn't see him for like 3 weeks. You come in and buy his max amount.
I don't know. I mean, I appreciate the necessity for money.
Sure.
And the necessity to
it's
accumulate
unfortunate
it.
that it's there,
But having, especially in the last 10 years or so, I've really learned to value experiences, right? Like, I gotta experience stuff. Like, I want to experience life. I want to experience travel. I want to experience, romance or whatever, right? Like, I want to experience these things. And now that I'm getting a chance to, it's like, man, but I need money to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's give and take, but it's like, where's the line,
Right, exactly. Like, I don't think I would give myself like, hey, once I hit that $1 million mark or whatever, maybe even more so because you're making so much money, then I'm going to retire early and then just live the rest of my life doing whatever.
Right. Yeah. Like, if there's like a monetary goal and you're just like crushing it and like, well on your way to it, and have like a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, something like that. And then be like, once I hit this, then I'm going to retire. Then I'm going to do this, and then I'll be set. It's like, that makes sense. But if at what point are you just like, oh, money's too good, and then you're home 3 days a week and you just have no future plans or anything?
Right.
And do you know where
maybe that happens to a lot of people? I mean, my friend in particular, I don't think that there's an end game. I don't think there's an end goal. I think it's just I needed a job. So
and some people are like that too. They don't need that. They just like are happy doing what they're doing, and then when they're not, then they'll find something else to do, and
Yeah, but what sucks is because statistically, the number one place you die is at work. Like, you die working, right?
I always joke. So like, everyone, like I have like a money guy, a retirement guy, and I keep pulling out of my retirement because I'm stupid, but I'm trying to pay off some debts. And he's like, when do you see yourself retiring? I was like, oh, no, I'm going to work up until noon on the day of my funeral. So.
I mean, much, right? Like,
right.
That's kind of
I mean,
the future for a lot of people
that's
right
kind
now.
of the reality for a lot of people too.
I mean, it's a joke.
Even
but
some
it's
people
not a
that are
joke.
older than us, I think it might be the actual reality for them.
Right.
I knew someone in their 90s who just never retired. They just kept working because they had to. 90s, just working a retail job.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Was it
but-
Jimmy Carter?
No.
Can't even, I don't know, where's fate in life. So.
But I mean, they spent, they didn't have a job where they could retire. They didn't have a means to retire. They were paying for their children. They were paying for their home. They were paying for their spouse, right? And it's just like the money's going somewhere, and it's just not going into a savings account. It's not going into retirement.
Right.
And I don't think many people right now really.
No, most people don't even really have a savings account, to be honest. I mean, mine is sad. Mine's very sad.
I've had a savings account in probably 20 years.
Yeah, I had a savings account at one point, and then I had to take out of it. So, I think that's the story of a lot of people's lives. Like, you had money once, not so much anymore.
Yeah, mine sits around like $100, so it's one of those like end of the paycheck, kind of oops, I forgot about this coming out of my, just kind of that.
Well, Jesus Christ, that's a whole nother topic for another day, I'm sure. But
oh yeah. But I mean, like, it's funny how we didn't say something outrageous about, like, if we could work anywhere, what would we do? It's like, oh, it's the job we were most comfortable in, or the job that we felt kind of.
Well, I was just being realistic. Like, if it was like, if you could work anywhere, like that, I feel like that wasn't the question.
Oh, I thought the question was if you could work. I don't know.
Just alternate jobs. If you're doing something else other than what you're doing now, what might that be? I mean, it's a very broad stroke question.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't. I just. I
mean, either way
saw
works.
It realistically, and then I saw it kind of like sad, very realistically of like, shitty serving job or like, not. Yeah. Like if it were down to it, like shit, I go back to like I'd open that quilt store back up that I worked at. Like I love that. Like just.
Oh, if I can resurrect. If I can resurrect Incredible Universe out of the Tandy hell that it lives in, I would totally do that, because that was one of the best jobs I ever had, at least in my late teen years anyway. If somehow we can get, Prestige Worldwide, off the ground, then that would be something, that I would totally like to do. Be some sort of video producer or some sort of something in the entertainment field.
If it was down to it.
The road to 2000. Road to 21st, road to 2000.
We need one of those, how, like, leading up to WrestleMania, they always, like, point up at the WrestleMania sign. Like, we need that, but it's just number 2000, like, road to 2000.
That should be the graphic that's above.
I'm writing it down because I have to build the graphic. So, yeah. Let me write that down while you guys talk amongst yourselves or something.
No, but that's that. I mean, because in an ideal world, in a perfect world, right? Like, what are we skilled at? Like, I don't have any skills that would make me like.
I feel like if I weren't in this job, I'd be in one similar to it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, realistically, yes, you guys are both probably right. I would probably.
But if it were,
go back to
something
some
like
sort of cubicle
in an alternate universe, like like doing this or like.
Oh
voice
yeah, I
acting.
mean, and that's something that
Right.
we've been talking about. Man, if we could just podcast or just do something like this, even in a more professional way of doing it, that would be the dream. But.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're all lacking in something that.
Well, and also, I'm gonna say something that's kind of mean and terrible. But we're old.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, but.
I mean, but you're not.
I'm
20-something.
No, but I'm not. Yeah, no, I get it. Like,
you know.
we're not young and fresh faced and
Right.
have no ideas. Like we're Gen X and millennial and jaded to the world and
Yeah. we're not saying that these are clutch or
Yeah.
like, you know,
We're
it's like
we're
our
nerds,
logo.
but like we're not rich nerds, you know, like we're not like.
But even then, we're not the type of nerds that current pop culture is interested in.
Right.
We're nostalgic nerds.
Right.
We're not
Because
like
even then, like you could have collector nerds that are like, oh, check this, but like people are moving away from that too. Like there's like,
well, how much are they
other
moving
than
away from
Pop
that?
Funko, I guess, but
They did buy Mario 64 for like $1 million or whatever, so or whatever it was, like or the first Legend of Zelda for like $800,000. So I mean, like, you know, there's people who are still collecting, but I think that we as nerds, we don't know. Like, are you keeping up with what's nerdy right now? Like, are you keeping up with, I don't know, whatever's considered nerdy? Like, look, like everyone's hot on.
I've been watching Loki. I watched Loki. Like I did that.
Loki's big.
You know, just a real quick on the Loki thing. Thought it was a fun series, but I felt like at the end of the last episode, I kind of just wanted a little bit more.
So
And
apparently
that might
it
be
was
strategic, but like I was like, can we at least like put a nail in this season if this is going to be a seasonal thing? Can we put a nail in this one to be like, get here with you know, a solid
Or
ending?
like for people who don't know enough about the lore, like I literally, our executive producer, I had to have him explain it to me, like for a good
then he was doing his
hour.
job then.
Yeah, for a good hour. I was like, he was like, have you got to the baddie yet? And I was like, who the fuck is this? Like, I don't know who this is. And then he was like, all right, in the comics, and then this, and then there's the alternate, and then there's it. And I'm like, how is like the layman supposed to know this? But then apparently this guy's made some appearances in some of the Marvel movies too.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, he hasn't.
He hasn't.
Yeah,
He will.
Or at least
He
there's
will.
been mentioned.
No, he hasn't even been mentioned. This guy is brand new, hasn't been mentioned until now, and he will be appearing in future Marvel films.
Okay, but like
And
still,
was
like
acting
I
his
have no idea
ass
who the
off.
fuck that is. Like,
I don't know about that. I felt like it was a really weird and wonky acting.
what? Like I just like as I was watching, I was just like, what's happening? Like,
You said weird and wonky. To me, it felt like Willy Wonka.
I guess that's what he was going for, but I mean, this Loki season 1 was supposed to be 12 episodes, but COVID prevented it from being 12 episodes. That's why it's ending in the middle.
I didn't know
so
that.
it's actually. It's actually ending in the middle. It was supposed to be the full arc of when you get to see the Loki redemption. You get to see Loki's actual redemption, but you don't get to see it anymore because COVID prevented that from happening. So now they have to do the second half in 2 freaking years. 2023 is when the second season comes out.
oh jeez.
And I'm like, by then we've forgotten what's going on. Like, why? But she's going to show up in Doctor Strange, the next Doctor Strange. You know, so
and
you'll see him at least.
The 2 years could be totally strategical.
It could be, but I don't know why.
Based on the movies that are going to be coming out or will come out before or just after the series. So that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like there's a lot of fun fan theories running around right now on this series. The one that I really like and kind of went back and looked at and gave some credit to is that each episode has colors based on the Infinity Stones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really cool to see when going back and looking at each episode. The one that I looked into this afternoon was at the point where He Who Remains goes, oh, we just went through the threshold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People are syncing that scene up with the after credit scene of WandaVision.
Yeah.
And when you see the thunder, when you hear the thunder roll in Loki, is the exact same time you hear the kids cry out in WandaVision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that makes sense.
But
again,
like a lot of people have also said that you can find a lot of similarities in anything. You know, I mean, people mute Wizard of Oz and play Dark Side.
Yeah.
So I mean, like things.
Have you done that though? Like it doesn't. Like
Apparently
no,
it did.
you're supposed to sync it.
I've never been
You're supposed
that high.
you don't mute the movie. You're supposed to sync it with the movie, and it's still, it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't
Have
really.
you done it?
I've never been that high.
Oh.
I wasn't even high. I was just like, all right, let's do this. But, I mean, there's fucking YouTubes, dedicated to it. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't. Yeah,
That's what
I
I'm
could
saying.
see,
I
like,
think
if
you
you're
need to be
fucking
super fucking high for it to make
on
sense.
acid. Yeah,
You gotta
for
be
sure.
like, you gotta be like fish fan high.
Oh my god.
Oh, there you go. That's my problem, not a fish fan. But anyway, so there you go.
You know what I
Loki.
am a fan
Glad we got
of?
Loki in.
You know what I am a fan of? Is the sex. I never get to have any of it, but I am a fan of it.
Oh.
The Olympic
You
officials.
all right. All right.
The Olympic officials in Japan want to make sure nobody has the sex, and have debuted these completely recyclable bed frames made of cardboard. I guess this whole anti-sex bed thing was debunked by an athlete that's already in Japan, staying in one of the rooms with one of the cardboard beds, and was aggressively jumping on his bed, and it didn't collapse.
Well, look, you got to give it to the Japanese and their impressive engineering. They can't even make a collapsible bed.
I mean, the picture I have on the screen right now, I mean, I think, it's innovative. I mean, it's a lot of folding. Somebody, there's some origami artists that are working at that cardboard facility. But it is cool that it is completely recyclable, and they're doing what they can during this still running post-pandemic thing. I don't know what to call it.
All I know is just put out condoms. Just put the ball out of condoms like they did in every other Olympics.
Yeah.
A swim.
There was
One of the literally just drained and filled with condoms, and that's not even enough usually.
Right. There was some runner that retweeted the initial pictures of the cardboard beds and said, this shouldn't be a problem for us runners. We can probably get 4 or 5 people onto one of those beds.
Oh, God, I guess. And then they'll be over as quickly before it can collapse.
Hey-o!
Ooh.
That's something you'll ever see on the side of a running track is somebody, selling shoes, like they sell crack or something on the side of the street. You never see like some shoe dealer like hanging out at a track like, hey man, you want a pair of Nikes?
No,
you want that runner? You want that runner's high? These shoes will give it to you.
Look, I just wanted to start. I've been itching for that opening ceremony. I want to see it.
That's Friday, right?
As we record, it's this weekend, so it's going to be exciting to see. It's
I've been waiting for the Olympics for a while.
The Olympics being as traditional
5 years.
Well, yeah.
As traditionally based as the Olympics are, I am curious to know what they're going to do about their whole, when the Olympics happen thing, because now it's been delayed a year.
Oh no, they're just going to do it next year. Next year's winter.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're going to keep on track. Like they're going to,
okay,
because like these things happen. These things happen like years in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I forget which city has it, but like they're already set up. They're
and they have to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny or sad depending on your point of view. The Olympics come to your town. You build all these super awesome, intricate, architecturally, fun-looking structures for the Olympics. The Olympics leave, and then they just sit empty.
Mm-hmm.
Sochi's a great example. That entire Olympic park is bone-ass empty as far as like usage goes. The streets around the Olympic Park are used for F1 racing.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, eventually they'll be used for something. I mean, we the space. I mean,
if anything, there's a city in Burma or Myanmar, depending on what school you went to, that the roads leading into this town are 24 lanes wide.
Yay, no traffic.
But there's no traffic on them right now. But it's weird that there's cities that are built for a future that may or may not ever be there.
Right.
You know, there's parts of Spain that have, and that could be because they're in an economic downturn, but you know, just blocks and blocks and cities worth of, I think they're called flats there, that sit completely empty.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
there's
Yeah.
there's a
Well,
lot
it's like, you know, Atlanta, they turned theirs into like Millennium Park or whatever, you know, Olympic Park or, yeah.
The Olympics were
Just
wanted
sucks because it's like they build all these pools and, you know, it's like, why don't they just like repurpose them for like kids, you know, swimming programs or what? I don't know.
Or at least because every time
Or
they're
low
like,
income housing for, you know, like use all those apartments for like low income housing. Or,
yeah. Oh, 100%. You know, but
they're already built, you know, they're already paid for.
right. The Olympics, I don't know which House Olympics wanted to come to Denver, like in the late 70s or early 80s, and the city was like, nah, it's cool. And Denver's one of the only Denver's like one of the only cities that have said no to the Olympics or something like that.
Yeah. They're like, fuck that.
Yeah, because places are delusional, thinking they're actually going to make money from the Olympics, and they quite often don't, and they often lose money, or they often come out like way worse than they started. So recycle them. In other words, go back to those same places. If you're going to do the Olympics every 2 years, just go back to those same places. Reuse those areas. They're there. That they're built specifically for the Olympics. Just do it.
Yeah.
You know, just go back.
Speaking of the Olympics, I was watching. Don't ask me why. I may have smoked a very large joint, but I was watching shot puts. You know, where they throw the fucking cannonball thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they spin and then.
Yeah, and this big moose of a dude threw the cannonball like 275 feet or something like that. Broke a world record.
Nice.
And the guy was just like pretty calm and collective about beating the very best of the world at throwing cannonballs. He was just like, that was pretty sweet. That's what I was working for.
Yeah.
Like, have you
my favorite and like least favorite thing, like both at the same time, is watching weightlifting actually. So when they do the snatch and their arms just fucking break the wrong way, like it's just just like Nope. Or when they shit themselves, or when they, you know, like.
Well, I enjoy
why is that a sport? Like, I don't. Ugh.
I enjoy when the body can't hang on to its liquids. That, to me, that's hilarious. But yeah, the snatch, like that is not, your body's not supposed to work that way.
No.
Have you ever seen a major league pitch in super slow mo?
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
It's just like
Like you see people's like sinew and shit. It's like, and the arm does these like weird movements that arms aren't supposed to do.
Yeah, it just no thanks.
Very strange. I don't even know what we were talking about.
Thanks.
I have to look at my notes.
That's all right.
I don't know. Yeah, so we actually hit everything I want to talk about, really. So
perfect.
I can tell that Savanna has had enough of Francis and I.
It's not that. It's just pumpkin time for me.
Yeah. You can say that. You're just sick of us. I get it.
No, guys. No.
No, I'm sick of her.
Yeah,
that's
what it is. Francis has been texting you, being like, "Fucking wrap this up." Francis is dissociating this time.
Once I learned that Savanna used that S for her name, I mean, like I just can't talk to her anymore. I can't look at her the same way anymore because she used that S when she was young.
I bet
cool. That's when I put on my big Pit Viper sunglasses, and
I bet you it was the fucking the cool S, and then like big ass bubble letters afterwards.
Bubble letters, absolutely.
Of course it's bubble letters. Of course it's bubble letters.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't do bubble letters, guys. I can't do them.
Nostalgic. We can work on it together, Josh. It's okay.
Sweet.
If you can do graffiti, you can do fucking bubble letters.
Don't forget to fold it in. Don't forget to fold your notes in a very intricate way where you have to
pull
that out, and then
Right.
you have to like.
Yeah, mine was always kind of the football, like the triangle, and then you had
Not mine, but the girls that I would do the notes with always did like the weird pull here or like unwrap it this way. They always made it so complicated, and I'm like, dude, I want to read your note. I don't want to like solve a puzzle.
Right.
Just let me read the note.
I just tried to fold mine in like the best way that it wouldn't make noise when they opened it.
Oh, that
Yeah.
I remember receiving a note that had basically 2 conversations in it, written in 2 different colored inks, from the same person, the same girl.
Was it one of those like every other letter was a different?
No,
and
every
like
other
it was
line.
like, and then your eyes just like crisscrossed and like.
No, luckily it was every other line was one color or the other, but it was very confusing when you first open it up and you're trying to read it in class and not pay attention to the class because you're receiving notes.
My favorite was when the teacher would get it and they'd be like, "I'm gonna read this now," and then it was like, "I lost my virginity last night,"
something like grotesque.
Right. And then they have just like instant regret, especially if it's like a male teacher.
Is your ass still sore? Oh God, never mind.
Yeah.
Really hoping is
or just like the things I would do to insert male teacher.
Definitely.
The good old days.
The good old days. It was kind of a reminiscing episode a little bit, I guess, with some current events.
I love it.
Francis, or in Savanna, mostly Savanna first. Where can people find you on the internet?
Oh boy, I'm on Twitter as Master of Raptors. I really don't tweet very often these days, but you can find me there. Everything else is locked down, so sorry.
Maybe one day it'll be out.
Maybe one day, yeah.
It's just having a quarantine time for the time being.
Yeah.
Francis, where can people find you on the internet?
SincereSarcasm.net for everything. Next week, Super Geeked Up starts up again. So go check that out. We'll have a new season. So one more week off. But yeah, good times talking about horny teenagers that we were. That was fun. We were just terrible. We were younger, I bet.
I was such a horny kid that my dick might as well have been on my forehead because that was the only thing on my mind. Who can I show this to? Who wanted to touch it?
I still don't understand. I've never had the impulse to show my penis to people. It's just never been an impulse of mine. Be like, hey, girl, I like you. What?
Not even that. Like sometimes I just, as a female of the species, sometimes you're just like, just like, what's up? Not much. You? And then just dick pic. Like you're like, what did I do to deserve this?
You got to.
And then you send them one back, and then they get mad. Like,
that's like the best defense.
Oh, man.
To send one back. That's great.
Where can we find you online, Josh?
You could find me at 303_ninja on the Twitters, 303ninja on the Instagram. What is it? POI Podcast at gmail.com, 314-764-7631. And the music ran out, so I have to hit the button again. And I think that's everything. Do you guys have anything else you want?
TV/POI Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
TV/POI Podcast.
Yes. That's the thing that we do now. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. We've done
brand new.
It was 17 episodes so far on there.
Watch, like,
and
subscribe,
YouTube too,
smash
right?
things, flick
Smash
things,
pound,
smash.
Pound them if you want. Smash, pound, flick.
Join our Discord.
Join the Discord.
Don't do that.
Send me an email. You can send voicemail if you wanted to. You could text me if you really wanted to. You should do it. participate in the chat.
Do
Share this
it.
with your friends. Let everybody know.
Road to 2000.
Road to 2000. Got it. Let's hit 20 first. Road to 2000. I will have that graphic ready for us next week. Everybody, thank you for joining us this week and every week as we go through this audio adventure with my two friends here who are holding back laughter, I could tell. So we're going to end, and we're all going to see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Where do I